Jon Jones has responded to Islam calling his pound-for-pound #1 ranking BS earlier this week. Here's what Islam had to say about Jon during the UFC 294 media day.
If you're real champion, you have to take this. Take fight, doesn't matter how many days, who is gonna be. Not like your pound-for-pound champion when they give him chills on him. The #1 guy right now, who he beat last 5 fights.
Jon replied on Twitter saying, "I wish you all the best, Habibi," and he added Islam. A fan replied, "Vulcan 4 KO." Jon said, "As far as the fight, may the best man win. I was just talking about in life. Islam made some negative comments recently. No need for me to respond with negativity. I have bigger fish to fry right now." Another fan replied saying he said the truth that you refused a short notice chael. Jon replied, "Heavy is the head that wears the crown. Criticism comes with the territory." He ended it off saying, "I want to encourage the young fighters to beat some of my records instead of using their lips. Now that's gangsta." Mike Perry versus Eddie Alvarez was made official yesterday for BKFC 56 in December. The two had an interview together with Ariel Helwani yesterday. Mike tells Eddie that he thinks he's crazy for wanting this matchup.
Eddie Alvarez, I appreciate the matchup. I think you're a little crazy for this to be your matchup, especially saying that you wanted this fight first. You had a little banger with Chad Mendez, and I'm definitely steps above that. So, I'm excited to see. And you're looking kind of thick, so I'm excited to see what my punches do to that flubber.
Kamaru Usman says he'd like to win the middleweight belt, then reclaim the welterweight belt before he walks away from MMA.
If you win this fight, go on to rematch Sean Strickland, win that. There's a whole plethora of other guys, but just seems like Dricus du Plessis is the #1 contender, and you've had words about him in the past. Would that be a fight that you would relish?
Absolutely, kid. I don't say no to fights, clearly. So 100% it could happen. I could also go down and take that belt back, so you never know. I mean, what a way to go out, huh? Move up, grab that belt, go back down, grab that one too, throw up some fingers, walk away.
Khamzat Chimaev is confident that he defeats Kamaru Usman this weekend. Khamzat says Kamaru is much like him, just older.
It seems fans are more excited for your fight against Kamaru than they are for Paulo. So have you felt that now there's more interest in this fight than your previous fight?
Yeah, of course, because since day one I get to the UFC, everyone spoke about like Khamzat Usman, our wrestling skills and striking, all of these things, And Usman is like a fighter like me, but he's old version. I'm new, it's like different. Like iPhones come out, his iPhone's 5, I'm like pro, So different. So, yeah.
Sean O'Malley and Tim Welch agree that if Kamaru Usman fought Khamzat Chimaev on a full camp and not on short notice, they probably would bet on Kamaru winning.
This is the hardest fight he could take.
Usman. Okay, Usman.
He's taking a fight at 185, short notice. This is probably one of the hardest fights he could have taken.
And he's talked about it before, his knees, how f***ed up they are. You can't wrestle. Well, if your knees are f***ed up, you're not going to be wrestling. You're just not. And Khamzat, big 185, f***ing giant 185.
3 rounds.
He's going to sprint at him and do the same shit.
3 rounds. God, if he can go out there and f***ing take him out early, that'd be crazy.
If it was a 5-round fight and Usman had a full fight camp, I'd probably pick Usman. But short notice, 3 rounds at 185.
In Abu Dhabi, we got to remember these guys. Like when I went to Abu Dhabi, I went 3 weeks early because of the time zone. I'm so f***ing glad I did, because it takes you a while to adjust.
So legit, 1 year from now, we're sitting in Abu Dhabi hotel.
Oh, that's crazy. October 16th. Yeah, it was fight week 1 year ago. That's crazy. Yeah, I'm glad we went early, but these guys are taking a short notice. At least it's both. Whoa, that's pretty. It's both up a weight class for both of them, short notice at least. So it's the weight. They don't have to cut weight or as much weight, I guess.
Dana White recently announced that the winner of Kamaru Usman versus Khamzat Chimaev will receive the next middleweight title shot. Robert Whittaker on the MM Arcade podcast explains why he does not agree with this decision.
It's funny though, like the title shot coming out of this, because Chimaev and Usman both aren't ranked as middleweights. So let's say So a win against either for either one of them gets them nowhere, but they fight for a title, and let's say hypothetically they lose that.
Yep.
They don't go to 1, do they? It is funny. The middleweight division right now is it's funny, you know. And then Izzy also came out saying that he's going to have some time away from the game, you know. Yeah, what happens to Drickus? That dude, like, you know what I mean?
I honestly don't
beat
know,
me
bro.
and. Yeah, beat me somehow. and it's just been forgotten. If he wasn't a middleweight, I'd care more. But and if it wasn't me he beat, like, I'd care more. Let me say though, Kamaru and Khamzat taking the fight, right? I don't hate them fighting in the middleweight division.
No.
I don't hate it. I don't hate them being thrown into the top 5 mix. I don't hate it because it just adds a lot of life to the division, adds new faces to fight. Because it's for a big chunk there, for a couple of years at least, the top 5 were the same unmoving names. Like, and I had fought all of them. Like, it was a tricky spot, you know. And now we've got some movement with Drickus moving and Sean moving, and now Usman and Chimaev in the mix. It's an exciting place to be. So
Kamaru Usman was wearing a Francis Ngannou shirt on yesterday's UFC Embedded, and the UFC blurted out. Francis reacted via Twitter. He wrote, "Hey bro, that's a nice shirt you have there, but I can't see what is in front." At the press conference earlier today for UFC 294, Dana was asked if he thinks 294 will do better numbers than Francis Ngannou versus Tyson Fury. Here's what Dana had to say.
Do you think that this fight that we got, UFC 294, is going to make better numbers and going to be louder and better than the Francis Ngannou versus Tyson Fury fight?
I would certainly hope so. I would certainly hope so, yeah. Listen, let's be honest, without smashing anybody here, these are the best fighters in the world in each weight class. That's what you want to see. I mean, you want to see the best fight the best. You know, these two right here and these two right here are the best. I would say yes, sir. But I'm pretty biased.
And that's going to wrap it up for the news. Thanks for watching. For daily MMA news and content, subscribe to Full Mount MMA and click the bell icon to be notified when we post videos. Here are the 3 top comments from last video. The first one's from Murder Man Joe. Says Patty got it all wrong. No one thinks he's a wolf. Just would hate for Tony to take another L, especially to him. The second one's from Christo. It says, just to be clear, Patty, no one is saying that you're that good. They're saying Tony is that bad now, unfortunately. And the final one's from Get Out Asanya. It says, you can see the pain in Kamaru's knees every time he moves. So stiff. Those were the 3 top comments from last video. If you want to be featured in the next one, all you have to do is comment down below. And if you missed yesterday's news, click the video on screen right now to get caught up.